Another edition of Your Money Radio, but this time it's going to be the second best show we've ever done because Danny's not here. So, so this is how it works, stock nerds and market lovers. We love Danny, right? So we kid, but you can always call him at 855. Wait, I just literally lost the number. I got to go look it up real quick.
Real wealth.
Yeah, no, it's 855. There it is, 732-5932. I hate saying real wealth because I don't feel like anyone's going to their cell phone and going, okay, what did he say? REA. So it's 855-722-5932. You can always call Danny right now on vacation. Pause the video. Call him right now on vacation. He would love to hear from you. His phone ringing off the hook would absolutely be the best thing. Or if you don't want to do that because you have a heart and you want Danny to take a break, we have Pseudo Danny here. Old PD, Pseudo Danny. Don, can you introduce Danny for us?
Introduce him? Well, here he is. Oh, I guess I should have introduced him in my voice and then Robin's voice, right? See, that's what happens when you don't give me any kind of heads up about what I'm supposed to do.
The only head.
I will do the Danny closing.
Okay, perfect. We can absolutely do Danny closing. So, stock nerds and market lovers, we have a lot going on in this show. I want to talk a little bit about Robinhood, but not from the point where everyone just bashes Robinhood. The brokerage came public. Ticker symbol HOOD. I'm not sure what I even think about the ticker symbol. Zach, if I told you the ticker symbol was HOOD for Robinhood,
is it really?
Yeah. Okay, that's the express. That's what I thought you'd do. Yeah, like I don't even know where I stand on. Where are you going to? The HOOD. And so, yeah, the HOOD. And so I'm not sure where I stand on the ticker symbol for Robinhood, but I've got other things to discuss there. I want to do a little fib work with people, Fibonacci work. I want to talk about changing trends. Let's see here. Hunter and Alex have a bunch of research. I know they want to present Don's got 21 over 21, dirty 30. Markets might be a shifting. We'll talk about that a little bit. But before.
I have given this HOOD thing some thought. If you
have you?
Quick information on it.
Wow.
See, the alternative, instead of going with the last part of the name, was to go with the first part of the name, but you can't really have Rob or Robin.
Oh, like robbing them,
or robbing people.
Like robbing
really have that as your character.
Robbing them investors.
Yeah. Exactly.
I would have taken RBHD. I would have done that.
Yeah.
Not HOOD. Although robbing them investors isn't a bad way to go either.
That's true. Their audience. That's
so, but we've got more important things to discuss here, stock nerds, market lovers. So, real quick. This is the best donut Jesus has ever created.
What is that?
That is good. Thank you.
Old-fashioned.
See, now there is an efficient. Guns Katutis knows exactly what he's talking about.
I know donuts. I like my donuts.
Let me tell you about this donut, stock nerds and market lovers. And they're like, I haven't had a donut in ever because I went sugar free. I went keto in 2019. But this donut, the old-fashioned sour cream icing, it's got like the best of everything. It's fried. It's got some crunchy bits. It's got some sweet bits. And it's not like one of those yeast-type donuts where I'm biting in the air and there's nothing in there. Like, I want a donut that lets me know I'm having a donut. And that, my friends, is this donut. And there is no debate about this. Don't you throw your Boston creams at me. Those glazed donuts from Dunkin' Donuts, which are not good donuts. This is the donut. Now, a substitute for this donut would be apple fritter. Anyone have an opinion on this? And I literally just saw this before we came on here. Oh, what's that?
I have no opinion. I don't like donuts.
Whoa! And that's why we talk. There we go. And that's why we talk about off-topic things.
That's why he weighs $152 and he's 6'4".
Because last week, I got more compliments. And I'm not making this up in my Twitter, in my DMs, from people talking about Hunter's tryst with Fruit of the Loin. Then. Like there were several people that wrote. I know one person in particular that wrote to Danny because he shared it with us. But several people commented in my Twitter feed. I love this. I could read the comment, the one that just came in last night. I can't believe I waited a week to listen to this. Fruit of the Loin, and so because the entree into Hunter's brain is awesome. Let's discuss, Hunter. Why don't you like donuts? Is it because you're un-American? Go.
I don't like desserts very much at all in the first place, so donuts are no exception. maybe
That's
every
just
now
weird.
and again I'd have a creme brulee after dinner.
A creme brulee?
But I don't.
Hold on.
No.
Out of all the things you could have said, like, please.
Nicolette likes creme brulee, so therefore
Crunch
I will eat that
berries.
with her.
Jeez,
That's
can
it.
you bring me a creme brulee, please?
Seriously, Hunter, are you crushing it this year? A creme brulee? Who just has creme brulee sitting around the house? It's next to
like
the caviar.
Out at dinner. That's out at dinner. At the house, I eat nothing sweet. I don't eat candy. I don't eat ice cream. Nothing. Just regular old entrees.
I'm curious. Did you go for like sour candy growing up? You know, like sour stuff?
I do. I like sour.
Okay.
Candy. I just had the Lifesaver little sours. I mean, but they're sugar free. So
wow. Oh man.
This is a new. You know what I've got is Hunter a communist? I think we should just use that as a title.
You didn't know I was a psychopath, but
Watch
here,
out.
the truth.
You know what? There's a lot of things we can do for the title cards. I doubt Zach can bring up the title cards, but we've done Danny flexing, Alex flexing, and now is Hunter a psychopath?
It's a good one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can figure out does Hunter hate donuts in America? Just a lot
halo
going
over his head could just be a donut.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, there absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, we can just change it up.
Yeah.
So look, I want to talk about Robinhood because it's made the news here, and this is just the headline, and headlines are just clickbait. But I've got a couple of sources here I want to reference because the business model is interesting. People saying that Robinhood isn't innovative, I disagree with them. When they're the ones that drove Schwab and all the other brokers to go commission free. That's my belief. Now, whether they were on a path to do that, I mean, trades were what, $5 a piece before Robinhood came in and started taking a bunch of market share from a bunch of folks. That's what drives change, right? Market share being taken from folks. So this is a gangster move if there was ever one. Schwab, the biggest of them to issue. What year was it, Don? It wasn't just last year. It was 2019, right?
I can look it up. I have it.
Okay, I think it was 2019 because the gangster move.
Yes.
And
it was October 2019.
Yeah. So this is I don't know who runs Schwab's business development. Like who? I don't know if it's Walt Bettinger, who's the CEO of Schwab. I don't know if this came from him, but they are the biggest at the time in October of 2019 to go commission free. It sinks. I mean, it tanked. I don't know if you can look it up, Don, or Hunter, anyone. It tanked TD's price. Like it just absolutely drove it off a cliff. And then
what was the date, Tim?
So you know what? I might be able.
Early to mid. Well, it was announced before that, but it was around October 2019.
So Schwab goes commission free. And it drives all the brokers, the public brokers. It drives like E-Trade, TD. It drives their prices off a cliff. IBKR. And then, like right on the heels of this, Schwab goes, "Oh yeah, we're going to buy TD Ameritrade." They drove their price down and then pounced. Like it's one of the best killer acquisitions ever.
Ice cold.
Oh, and like planned out. It's like the hyenas were in the back, like the antelopes are just out there grazing, right? Yep. They're taking in fees. Antelopes are eating fees, and they're having some more fees. And then the hyenas, the Schwabs of the world, are back there going, "Get fat, fellas, get fat." And then all of a sudden they drop the boom, and then the next hammer falls, and they're buying TD. And TD's not a bad business, just. Way to go. And so, but what's interesting here is the values on a bunch of these accounts. And I think this is interesting. This is not me saying I like Robinhood. I don't like Robinhood. I don't really have an opinion right now on this IPO. But what's interesting is what their accounts are worth and the other brokers' accounts are worth. So if you're a client of Schwab or TD, you're about to find out what you're worth to a bunch of people here. So RH accounts, Robinhood accounts. They're worth about, in value, each account is worth roughly not how much money's in the account, but the account value, what's kicked off. It's about $1,500 to $1,600. An E-Trade account is about $2,000, worth about $2,000 a piece. A Schwab account, which is now part of TD, is worth anywhere from $3,600 to $4,000 an account. So that is that just gives you the hierarchy there of
Scale.
Scale. No, I don't know about
Yeah.
quality. I want to be really careful here. So the typical Robinhood account has $4,500 in it. And let me just pause right there before, because I know a lot of people like to just beat up Robinhood for this. Look, they're new. Like, I know they're 7 years in, but they're new, and they have a younger audience. And so, the trick for me, I think for them, not the trick for me, but I think the trick for them is, can they grow old with the clients they have? You don't think so, Zach?
Maybe not.
No?
Robinhood, the guys that are on an app
Yeah.
in 2021, the app driven trade. I don't know.
You don't think so?
I don't know if they're going to be around in 60
I do.
years.
I was about to ask you, Alex. Tell me what you think.
I have family members that they're in their 60s and they downloaded the app just to trade for fun on the side.
Okay. Well, that lies another problem. Trade for fun on the side, because I've read pieces and I've heard interviews where people are like, this isn't serious investing, and they sound like old curmudgeons. You know what I mean? Like, how dare you come in here?
Right.
Yeah. And I'm thinking,
But that's what Robinhood is. I mean, one of their mission. I mean, I've heard the CEO talk about it. He's like, he wanted to make investing more attractive to everyday people, and if it's fun, maybe to lose money. I don't know, but there's something to it, because a lot of people are downloading the app. It's so easy. You just download the app and you put money in it, and within a day you're trading.
And so I think that the curmudgeon, these aren't serious investors. No, they're younger. And the goal now that Robinhood has them as customers is, how do you groom them into a lifetime of investing, right? Whether it's dollar cost averaging, it doesn't have to be dollar cost averaging stock, just dollar cost averaging into the Robinhood account.
Yeah.
Taking on an IRA, or, and they're going to start offering all that type of those products, not just taxable retail type accounts there. So let's see here. Typical. Okay, so most Schwab and TD accounts have 6 figures in them. But how long has Schwab been around, right? Now here's what's interesting. The revenue per account. So how much money is a company making off of each account? So it's on average, the Robinhood account is $137 to $500, depending upon what they're trading. And so, and by the way, that also is an interesting thought too about Robinhood, that if they Alex was saying to trade on the side. I don't think you said trade on the side, but because they make, I believe, 75% of their money from selling their order flow to pay for those free trades, they need their people to trade. Because if the volume decreases and they have less order flow to sell, that's a hit to revenue, right? Like, that's just common sense there, I think, unless I've got it wrong.
Yeah. And how big did you say those accounts were? Like 1,600 to 2,500?
No, about 4,500
okay.
in value. And so you need them to trade. And so, because they need order flow to sell. And so I don't know how that all works out, because if you groom them to be lifelong investors, right? Mm-hmm. I know from working in the industry, and when I used to speak, when I worked at IBD, I cultivated a relationship with Schwab, and they pulled back the curtain a little bit, and they make like this many accounts makes this much of their revenue.
Right.
The high, so they would cater to that.
Yes.
And like this, even more, like this many accounts don't trade but once or twice a year. Like the 99% of their accounts didn't really do much. Like they were all passive. And then there was like poquito, right? Duolingo.
Just a few, yeah.
Yeah, just a few would drive the majority of their business. And so that you need them to trade. So if there is a correction or a bear market or a period where being a stock market person falls out of favor, where does that leave the business of Robinhood to?
Yeah, and I guess that's my angle on Robinhood. I feel like if it's easy to pick up, it's easy to put down, right? Like if your target audience is 20-year-olds, like, and that 20-year-old drops his iPhone in a lake and decides to switch to Android, he's not going to have Robinhood on his new phone. It's that easy to lose it. Like it's as quick to pick up as it is to put down. And like bigger accounts, TD Ameritrade, Schwab, those are corporate. They're professional. They're part of a portfolio. Robinhood, it's a meme. Now it might last, like it could stick around for a while, but I think it'll evolve. Some other company will come along that will turn it into something. Facebook will take over MySpace, or we'll keep turning.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, it's interesting that you said that. I've got a couple. I want to come back to that thought you just said there. But it's easy to pick up, put down. I have a thought on that. And then so the revenue per a Schwab account. The revenue per a Schwab account is $600. So that's the average revenue per account. That's pretty
annually.
Impressive. Annually, yeah. No, yes, annually, I believe. Yep. And then quarter two. But here's where Robinhood wins. So in quarter two, the most recently reported quarter for this year, Schwab added 1.7 million accounts.
Oh.
Okay. Sounds great, right? Yeah, Robinhood added 4.5 million. So now it's up to them, right, to figure out how to grow old with their client base.
Right.
And how do they cultivate that relationship? Because if they churn, I don't know what their account churn is. I'm quite sure that's in the S1. That's actually something I probably should have looked up. But if they churn and burn a bunch of their accounts, that's not growing old, but that's driving trade volume. If they encourage just a little bit more buy and hold, that's going to decrease their biggest source of revenue. And so part of me thinks that their CEO, co-CEO, co-founder, and their CEO, Vlad Tenev, I wonder if he sticks around, does it become you said Facebook, Facebook takes over MySpace. I wonder if it becomes he gets a Sheryl Sanders. I wonder if he gets somebody in his life, like Google got an Eric Schmidt. Like, I wonder if there's somebody that comes in to kind of start that cultural transition. Because yesterday I was listening to a bunch of interviews, and it was all about educating. Like, clearly he was on a mission from his handlers to just say, we're here to educate. We're here to help them. We're here to educate. We're here to help. Like, it was clear that he was not going to be driven off message.
Yeah.
Or discuss that 75% of his revenue comes from people continuously trading.
Yeah.
Putting money in the slot machine. Right. So, Don, I'm real curious that from an IPO standpoint, and just as trading standpoint, what do you think of Robinhood? I should pull the chart.
I really hadn't looked at it much because the way we address IPOs is we would wait for them to form a base, which takes at least a couple of weeks. But it was the most disappointing IPO from a size and how much it dropped on its first trading day in history.
Yeah, what was the stat that issues over $2 billion? The last like 5 or 6 issues over $2 billion have all finished the day in the red. So I think size matters, and I'm not meaning to make a joke there, but I was talking with Danny earlier this week before we left about float size. Chipotle, I believe, only has 29 million shares outstanding. Can someone back that up for me, please? Restoration Hardware. I mean, these are two really well-run companies. And Restoration Hardware, I believe, has 25 million shares of the float outstanding. And then you've got this Mark Wahlberg gym, F45, which has 90 million shares, just came public. FXL, I'll just look at it real quick. FXLV. And so here's F45 trading on an hourly chart, just came public last week or the prior week. A 90 million float. Like, that's a lot of freaking shares. And I think a lot of it has to do with how they came public. And when you get to Robinhood's been in business 7 years. What's the float of Robinhood, anybody? Can you just give it to me real quick? I don't know the float off the top of my head.
Looks like shares and float, according to Market Smith, 418 million. And then shares outstanding, 841.
Okay. I mean, the dilution along the way. So from Series Seed through Series A, B, C, D, I don't know how far they got down the road. They needed billions of dollars injected into them late January, early February. They were going to go insolvent because of the short issue and the GameStop issue that in AMC that's been talked about ad nauseum. That's a lot of people who have to get rewarded in this. And so like DoorDash has Hunter, while you've got it up, can you tell me DoorDash, Airbnb? Just give me a couple floats if you can. And just let me know when you're ready. But
Dash is
yeah.
Dash is 206 million shares in float, 325 million shares outstanding. AB&B is 190 million shares in float, 617 million shares outstanding.
And look at these charts. These charts are not near where they. I mean, they might be near where they came public, but they're not near their highs. Markets are near their highs, and Airbnb, DASH, not really near their highs here. And I know, Tim, you're cherry picking. Not pick anything. The larger the float when it comes public, I think is going to just make it more difficult for these equities. And the smaller the float, I think, is where you have the opportunity. We talked about it last week, or Chipotle, or maybe it was prior. Chipotle came public with less than 500 outlets, 500 restaurants. After they got funded, they were spun out from McDonald's. People remember that, believe it or not. I bet you McDonald's wishes they had them back every day of well, that was probably what freed them to get great management. Right?
Yeah.
Like, what's Yum doing, by the way?
McDonald's not known for its management.
They had a good earnings report, yeah. Apparently Taco Bell sales were killing it.
Taco Bell, when Brian Nichols worked at Taco Bell, that's where I found he is like, he's a magic man. Like, he's the CEO of Chipotle, okay. Brian Nichols. He was at Taco Bell, and at the time, when Taco Bell, or Yum was just taking off, and it was, again, Taco Bell leading the charge. It wasn't Pizza Hut. Chipotle was going through food issue after food issue, like people getting sick, like their supply chain was troublesome. And I thought it was a miracle, because if anyone's been inside of a Taco Bell, like, how is nobody getting sick at these things? Yeah, like, Chipotle wasn't always the Chipotle we know and love, right?
Yeah.
They had some food poisoning issues, or I don't know if it was listeria, or I forget what it was, but it was
E.
coli. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah. And here's Brian Nichols at Taco Bell, and I'm not making this up. I don't think the meat. Now, this is not slander. This is what I've heard. So we're going to preface it.
Yes.
But there's levels of beef that you can use and serve to people.
Like grades of beef?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And I know this. Yeah, and I know this because I was on a ship on my way to Iraq. And they were serving beef, and I looked at the box that was back behind the galley, the chow line, and it said not for prison consumption. Which then begs the question, hold up. Why are we eating this?
Yeah, wait a second.
Wait a minute. Not for prison consumption. But here it is. Yeah, it's grade F.
Grade F.
Yes, right. Captain Reazor, that is grade F beef. I'm like, there's grades to this stuff? Oh, yeah. This is grade F. And it's not for prison consumption, but it's okay on a naval vessel.
I've never heard grade F. I heard grade D was like horse meat.
Yeah, I've heard grade D.
Yeah, I don't know what grade F is.
And so I believe Taco Bell is somewhere off of the scale of A, B, or C. Now, that might have changed. Who knows? But no one's
still delicious, though. Still very good.
The thing that I like about Taco Bell is you can eat like a king at Taco Bell.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you got a $5 in your pocket. You are royalty.
Put on the crown.
You got a 20. You're like King Friday from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. You're feeding the kingdom with a 20.
You get one of those party packs,
dude.
12
soft the party pack. Tacos, get yourself a griller. They're a buck. A griller.
Yeah.
God, I love taco. I haven't had Taco Bell in ages either. I really enjoy it.
You're not missing a lot.
Oh, I do love me some Taco Bell.
You know the shame is about Taco Bell? It gets worse. Like, it doesn't get better. You're not going to eat Taco Bell 10 years from now and go, man, just like I remember. You're going to be like, no, this is significantly worse than I remember. And it's already bad. So I don't know what that means for Taco Bell. But,
And then when you get, there's a sense of disappointment when you go there and they're like, steak nachos were only for a limited time, sir.
Right. Yeah, we don't do the potato-loaded grillers anymore. Ridiculous.
Is that not nuts? It's a starch wrapped around a starch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring that on every day. What I'm saying. But anyway, Brian Nichols, one of the look at Chipotle. I believe Chipotle. Yeah. He's the guy that drove Taco Bell to new heights, and then Chipotle's like, why don't we get that guy? He seems to have an idea of how to run a Mexican food restaurant.
Yeah.
And they got him. And man, he is, I'll tell you what, the day part I want, like the one thing that they break up, they call it day part. Like what you serve, lunch and dinner is a day part.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the one thing I think that takes Chipotle to $5,000 a share. It's trading $18.50 right now. Breakfast.
Breakfast at
Breakfast.
Chipotle?
Give me breakfast at Chipotle.
Hold on a second. They don't open until 11 a.m.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
I was in Columbus, Ohio last weekend, and it was like 8:50 at night, and there was still a line out the door at the Chipotle I stopped at, and I'm like, and it was a random, like, it just weekend night, like no big deal, and yet every Chipotle has a line.
Always.
Yeah. And so I don't know why they're not doing breakfast, but if they do breakfast, this thing is going to be ridiculous.
What would they do for breakfast? Not to send you off a rabbit hole here.
Yeah, no,
I'll
tell you exactly.
Having a hard time imagining.
So they're going to do eggs, right? And they're going to do eggs, and they're going to do an egg bowl. Then they're going to do a breakfast burrito. Then they're going to do a breakfast quesadilla, and they're going to use, and it's not going to be like gross eggs that Taco Bell does breakfast. They don't do breakfast well. Those are gross eggs. And so Chipotle will do good eggs. Like they'll have them. Somehow they will figure out how to do good eggs, not gross eggs.
Well, they got those big flat top grills back there. It's easy, right? Taco Bell's all weird, like microwaves and maintenance. Like Chipotle's like big flat.
There's a whole. There's a whole. You know what? You know what it is? It's like you can see back into the Taco Bell and see how dirty it is, or like there's just food. Yeah. Like just bring it out. Like put a wall back there. We know you're using microwaves, and let's go.
Just hide the shame. Like we know. We rolled up to Taco Bell. We know what we're doing.
That's interesting. What are the Mount Rushmores of fast food? Because I don't think there's a need for Burger. If Burger King went away, I'd be okay. Like I don't think
nobody cares about Burger King.
Thank you.
Excuse me. McDonald's is number one.
Whoa, McDonald's is the king.
Like you're going there?
They gotta be.
Yeah.
They're the Coca-Cola of fast food. Like they're the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but yeah.
McDonald's.
If Burger
Taco
King and
Bell.
McDonald's are next to each other, I'm going to Burger King.
Really?
That flame grilled
nice.
Whopper.
Wait.
I mean, it's underrated.
No, there is nothing for me at Burger King.
Burger King also had a killer
me
French fry
too.
recipe for a
I'm
while.
not
I
a
can't
Burger
speak
King
for
guy.
that. And they had those what was it, $3 for 10 nuggets at Burger King?
But they couldn't move them.
Tasted like cardboard. Oh, it was the worst.
I'm gonna go.
Those nuggets were horrible. I ate them in college a lot when they were like $10 for super cheap, or 10 nuggets.
10 for
super
$3.
cheap.
Yeah, it was $3.
I ate a lot and they're horrible.
They're bad.
I think you put Arby's up there.
Hold on.
I like Arby's.
They have
What?
the
You put Arby's on the Mount Rushmore of fast food? Arby's?
Yeah, it's a dark horse.
Ooh, it's a dark horse for sure.
Yeah, like he's not on the other side of the mountain. He's on the mountain that you
that's
see.
the Teddy Roosevelt.
Of
our
the
fast food
Teddy
Mount
Roosevelt
Rushmore.
of fast food is Arby's. They've got the meats. Now listen,
potato cakes as the side.
That's a hash brown.
The special.
Potato cake's just a hash brown in the shape of a triangle.
There's
a special hash brown.
I'm telling you, Arby's is a niche, and they fill it well.
They're good at it. They got good marketing for sure. I'm impressed by Arby's still sticking around. How? I haven't eaten an Arby's.
They serve like a venison deer come hunting season. I mean, a venison deer, a venison sandwich.
A venison deer.
Yeah,
venison sandwich.
A venison sandwich is what I meant.
They have
to
the
say.
meats. Yeah.
Look, you work without a script.
Yeah, you do a show every week. See how far you get.
Yeah. Because nowhere in my notes is talk about the Mount Rushmore of fast foods. But now, are we calling Panera fast food? Like, where do we put
that's
fast?
not even close.
No,
Panera's not even close.
No, I don't think they
get coffee there.
No, okay. I don't think they belong on it. But are we putting fast casual in fast food? That's the question.
No.
Yeah. We put Starbucks.
What about
on
Shake Shack?
Starbucks would be the next one in my head.
Starbucks is probably.
Yeah.
You got to put Starbucks on there.
I don't know about Shake Shack. I don't know if Shake Shack has enough. I don't know if Shake Shack has enough appeal.
Wendy's, Hardee's, those got to be considered.
We should talk about Wendy's because I think Wendy's is. Ooh,
people sleep on Wendy's. Wendy's is good.
Yeah, I don't know though. Are they better than McDonald's?
Pull up the chart. Let's see Wendy's chart.
Yeah, hold on.
There we go.
Yeah. Now we're doing a stock show.
Well, the market has spoken. The answer.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
No, the market has spoken. Wendy's is not as good as McDonald's.
Yeah.
We're going to need
Yeah,
a
there you
stock
go.
price to dollar menu matrix to
Well, that's
compare,
yeah, but
all the
Somebody cook
various-
one of those up.
I'll
please.
say that Wendy's peaked. Wendy's peaked right after Dave died, and then now it's been downhill.
Maybe.
Dave Thomas.
They also, had that,
Wendy's.
they also had that whole finger in the chili incident.
Oh, that's not good. You know what it is? It's
Wait,
So
that was
he-
real?
No, it wasn't real. I think it was a disgruntled
You
employee
sounded
who
so
legitimately.
convincing.
Yeah,
So-
it was a disgruntled employee who
you guys
legitimately
could've
lost her
been-
finger.
this is dangerous territory, and so we're going to step lightly here. Okay,
All right.
this is seriously dangerous territory. We're about to do this. We're about to take the show, but I think you go where the service is good, right? And I don't think the service is very good. Like I prefer Costco because I know that like there's a level of cleanliness that I've addressed the cleanliness of the bathrooms at Costco at
Yeah.
nauseam. But
You're a fan.
there's a level of customer service at Costco that I enjoy, no matter which Costco you go to. McDonald's is actually there's a couple McDonald's by where we live that are fantastic. There's a good level of service. The Wendy's not so
Tim,
much.
hold up. I have a stipulation to the statement you're making, or
Go ahead.
perhaps a counter argument, whatever you want to call it.
Please.
I think you'll go wherever, regardless of the quality of service, if the quality of food warrants it.
No.
For example, Chipotle near me sucks. It is horribly managed, but I probably still go 4 times a week because I love Chipotle more than I hate their service. That's my point.
Boy, that's a strong one.
compelling.
I said no right away, and I'm like, well, that I don't know. I don't know. I there comes a point where I don't know now. I rarely will do this. I don't know if it's an age differential, but I will gladly drive a little bit further or pay a little bit more for service. I think that's just where I'm at.
It's
No?
true.
Oh, you're saying yes to that? Zach?
I'm in the same boat. I'm incredibly childish when it comes to quality of service. If I roll up to a gas station and I try my card in the card reader and it doesn't work first try, I just get in my car and go to the gas station. I won't even drive to another pump. Nope. You had my chance in my business. That was it. You missed it. You lost. Good day, sir. I'll see you around.
Like, and
I'm
it's
never coming back here again.
But
This
it's
establishment. What a
interesting.
joke. Huh?
It's interesting about
Forget
service.
the fact that Zach put the card in upside down. It's somebody else's fault.
Exactly. There you go.
It's interesting about service. So yesterday I took the very proud owner of a Chrysler Pacifica. I took the Shaggin' Wagon into to get it needed like a booster brake pump or something that went bad, and I've been driving it without it for like a while.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to just press harder on the brakes. I'm like, I should get this fixed.
Right.
So I took it to this local establishment, and my door comes back, and the paint's missing on the door down to the metal, and I'm like, well, that wasn't there when I started.
Hey. Yeah,
So
whoa.
I called the fellas out. I'm like, hey, you know what happened here? And they're like, huh. Let me go take it back and ask the tech. And so then they come back. You're like, yeah, it looks like there's some paint missing from your door. And I'm like, yeah, there is.
There sure
And
is.
they're like, well, if you're okay with it, you okay with it? Like they looked at me like, and I'm like, you okay? Like, no, I'm not okay with this. I'd like it fixed, please.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, just bring it back tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay. But like, there's like, these are younger fellas, right?
Sure.
And I'm like, why would I be okay with that?
You're cool with this, right?
But I've gotten that service at a Taco Bell or a Burger King. Like, no, I'm not okay with my order being this horribly wrong or this bad. Or
For sure.
anyway, I think I've droned on enough.
Fast food's a funny thing.
There's four on Mount Rushmore. So what do we got? We got McDonald's, Starbucks. I put Arby's up there.
Arby's? All right.
What's the
okay.
fourth? I don't know.
McDonald's, Starbucks, Arby's, Wendy's / Star. Or so no, that's it. That's 4.
That's
McDonald's, Arby's, Starbucks, Wendy's. I would
You stuck
say.
Wendy's
Don
on there?
likes Burger King.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
well, is Wendy's, Hardee's, Burger
Pippi
King.
Longstocking as a shout out?
This is a conglomerate right here at QSR. It's Popeyes, it's Tim Hortons, it's Burger King.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're including conglomerates because the unholy trinity that is Taco Bell,
What
Pizza
about
Hut,
Chick-fil-A?
KFC
I think Chick-fil-A should be.
are
Oh,
locked
how
in.
could we
not have
They're not going
mentioned
anywhere.
Chick-fil-A?
I mean,
Gosh
They'll
darn
never
it.
die.
Chick-fil-A.
Boy, that is Guns Catutus coming in there.
Chick-fil-A over Starbucks. I don't know why Starbucks is on there.
The best
That's fair.
service,
Donuts.
Is not
Arby's is on there.
it's not there.
the best service in the world comes from a Chick-fil-A. And I want to know,
I agree. I agree.
Now, but don't you ever wonder, like, because every restaurant, every fast food outlet, right, in the world could be like Chick-fil-A in terms of the service, the attitudes, the smiles. Like every store, in my opinion, could be just like Costco.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But they're not.
No.
And I want to know.
Well, not everybody can have 6 items on
culture
the menu,
matters. You know? Like there's a whole. The culture is so important.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why they can't be that way. And like there is a degradation of service as you go down the food chain. I think the number one's got to be Chick-fil-A because they're always clean, and I haven't been in one that's bad.
And I think those are franchised. Right?
They are franchised. Yep, but they only limit them. The difference with the Chick-fil-A model and like a McDonald's type model is you can only own like 1 or 2. Like they limit you so you can focus as the owner and be there and work the business. Whereas you've got these ghost LLC type entities that own 500 McDonald's and they own a couple hundred. Oh yeah, it's a big deal. There's one in South America that owns.
You talked about Costco last week, and I think you're onto something there. If they treat their employees right and pay them right, you're going to get better service.
There's a whole. Well, I think, and I want to talk about this too. Let's do that transition real quick. So Target is much different. I have culture trend on my culture shifting trend on my notes this week. It was towards the end of the show, but let's do it right now. So look at Amazon. So Amazon reported, right? And so Amazon, look. These are tremendous businesses. Before we make any other comments, the money that they're generating, Apple. I mean, what an amazing. We would all. Would you give your left pinky to throw off some of the cash flow that Apple and Amazon do? Like these are amazingly run well. I mean, they're giant. Like their supply chain, the people that manage the supply chains, the people that manage just to get enough cardboard boxes to box your stuff up in Amazon. Tim, you're not talking about AWS, or you're not talking about their advertising. Look, these are such huge entities that it boggles the mind how they run like this and throw off this much money every quarter. It's impressive. But let's talk about culture and that. So let me show you. We talked about the culture. You pay them well, the inflation. I think inflation is here. You can tell me. Let's look at lumber real quick. LBS. Oops. Lumber is the poster child for inflation this year. And lumber is square. How much is lumber down for the year now, Alex? If you could just throw that off to me at some point, I'd appreciate it. Look at lumber. Clearly in the red for the year now.
Excuse me.
But you're not seeing a price break on lumber from Home Depot, right? And I believe it's because the one thing that's not transitory that I think Jay Powell is messing up is labor. Labor is not transitory. Walmart is not going to go back to whatever they're paying at Walmart right now. They're not going to reduce it. They might reduce hours. They might, when somebody leaves, not replace that person at a store. So that's one way to manage the labor flow. But in terms of what they're paying per hour, they're not going to reduce that. And we talked about that. But the companies that have they're a known entity for treating their people well and paying well. Chipotle
is down 44%.
So lumber is at its peak it was up a couple 100%, right?
The closing price on December 31st was $872.60.
You are not seeing any kind of reduction where you buy lumber. I'm telling. I just know it. I know it for a fact. For a bunch of other reasons. But I know when you go to the Home Depot, you are similarly paying what you were paying 3 months ago for them. Chipotle. Look at this. Costco. Now, I haven't looked at the chart. Now, Starbucks is near high, and they are known for treating their people well. They go to it's Arizona State University, I believe, and they allow you to participate in a 401k. Kind of unheard of for what they are, a fast food restaurant.
Get a free Spotify subscription.
I'm a Sun Devil.
Or a Starbucks.
Okay, yeah. Is that the Thunderbird School of Business at ASU? Yeah. And so
WB Carey.
W. Carey. Maybe Thunderbirds at Arizona.
Maybe Grand Canyon. Is that?
I'm not 100% sure. But
Thunderbird. Not sure.
Walmart, and forgive me for not being 100% certain on this, it was Walmart yesterday or McDonald's that came out and said, not only will we send, I think it was McDonald's, we'll send you to school, we'll pay for your books. And the ante just keeps getting raised. And that culture is a big deal. Wendy's is not known for doing any of this. QSRs, which, by the way, if you want to know the story with the QSRs, better chart than Wendy's, they are known for how can we trim, like when it's a Brazilian company the Brazilian company that buys these restaurants up. They partnered with Warren Buffett on the purchase of Popeyes, Tim Hortons, and Burger King to make this happen. And they're known for how can we save money at every phase? How do we do like to the point like copy paper, like everything? And so, which by the way, eventually stifles innovation.
Yes,
because all you're trying to do is you're fighting the war against spending money, and you're taking away from the brain cells that actually innovate.
Right, you're fighting a war of attrition that ultimately is going to have an endpoint somewhere.
Yep, because there's only so much you can cut.
To nothing, you're not going to have a whole lot to last.
There's only so much you can cut, and so I mean, but this is not Chipotle, and there's not that many. And so going back to Target, but look at Kohl's. Look at this chart of Kiss. Give me any other department store. Give me any other store. Can someone just throw out some names? I got Kiss.
DDS. Dillard's might actually look okay. DDS is Dillard's.
Yep. There's Dillard's. I had a new high.
Macy's.
Academy. I guess maybe I'm full of it, but I believe that the companies that can, I have Walmart. Give me some more. Actually, I'm curious now. Throw another store out there.
Macy's,
DKS,
TJX. Yeah.
So taking advantage of the sporting goods. You said PKS, Alex?
No, I said TJX.
Thank you, TJX. I'm sorry. I'm not hearing well.
You're good.
The companies that can withstand the inflation from higher wages, I believe, are just a select group. And maybe ASO and maybe Dick's, maybe they're known for treating their people really well. I don't want to ascertain that the stock price is 100% indicative of, they clearly treat their customers, their employees well. But the ones that are known for it right now and making a stressor on it, and I think Walmart has a ways to go here. I don't know what else Walmart can do right now, but anything they do right now is going to affect their bottom line. Like let's look at Home Depot, Lowe's.
Home Depot treats their employees like they've created more millionaires in the past 30 years than I think any other company.
There you go.
Because of the way they incentive,
really?
The amount of the stock plans that were given to the people in the 90s. I forget what the stat is. I can find out probably on Google, but
I'm curious now.
I don't want to say something that's not true.
That's all right. We do it all the time here at Your Money Radio.
I'm all about that.
We just created the Mount Rushmore of fast food restaurant space solely on no fact.
True.
I think the culture war isn't like a culture war like they politicize it. I think it's the employee culture war. Where is a good culture that there's a shortened labor supply, right? And where do people? Clearly, it's an employee's market right now, and it's not always that way, but right now it is. There's a choice where you go to work, and do you want to work where maybe it's not as good? And I mean, I don't know what the stock price of a Chick-fil-A would be, if it was a public company, but I would reckon it would be pretty good. They're always everyone's hiring right now, but those employees, it's hard to fake happiness. It's hard to do consistently good service if the people working there aren't happy. And I think that when you get the opportunity to buy a Chipotle on the dip, by the way, all we do here is for edification purposes. You want to take that opportunity, and you're going to get an opportunity. Eventually, you'll get an opportunity. I
found the stat.
Go ahead, give it to me.
On Home Depot. Yeah. So this was from a couple years ago, but it said since the 70s through 401k plans, Home Depot has created over 3,000 millionaires.
That's
It's pretty significant.
Yeah. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to, and by the way, is Amazon known? And I'm quite sure, there's a bunch of employees that have made a tremendous amount of money off of Amazon, if they got in early enough working there. But is Amazon culturally known as a place to go work with great jobs? And I don't know that. And there's a difference between a narrative being floated and the truth. Right? Mm-hmm. And
yes.
And I almost had this discussion with the Amazon driver that pulled up to the house the other day. I went for a run, and then I just happened to get done, and there he is at the house. And I wanted to ask him, what he thought about working at Amazon.
Are you miserable at your job?
Well, so that ran across my head. How do I ask this question? I gave up. I decided I was not. All I did was thank him for the package. I was running through my head hey, how do I say? Did you have no other choices and you went to Amazon? Because that's not what I mean. I wanted to know what it was like to work there, because the only people who hate Amazon will tell you they make their workers pee in a bottle. The people that hate Amazon will say they're anti-union. There's a whole bunch of things. And you can find a whole bunch of things to hate about a lot of companies, right?
Sure.
But it seems like when they post jobs, they're getting filled.
Yeah, I mean, I worked with a woman in Atlanta a while back who had done some time at Amazon as a supervisor at a warehouse. She said it was the best job she ever had.
Really?
Loved it. And that's didn't want to leave, but her husband was moving out of state, so they moved, and that was it. But I mean, and that who knows? Yeah, who knows?
But it's interesting. I think the companies that thrive, not just survive, but thrive, their investments. You're going to turn around, their investments.
Right.
Are the ones that treat the people well, because you want to go back there. You want to do commerce there. I don't look, and I know that this isn't me being insensitive, but Walmart's a slug some days, man. If I have to,
it's the worst.
Just because the lines, it's self checkout. It's I don't like Kroger.
Yeah.
The systems to check out, it's all self checkout because they only have 2 lines open. Because they're trying to do a balance between the employees, how many they have working during a shift, and it's
making the customers pay for the cost of checking.
And it's a low margin business, and so they're trying to do that dance, and yet I have to have somebody come out and unscrew the machine just stops scanning. You know what I mean? All the time. So I don't like going there. I love going to Costco. I don't like going to Kroger. And I think so is Kroger, I never hear anyone say I really enjoyed that experience at Walmart. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You're well, Tim, Kroger is really doing well. I just think the ones that win long term is this. I think that's the model moving forward. And the generation that's the people that, the older investors, I think that, that they're going to die. Mm-hmm. They're going to leave the earth. The people that are left to do commerce and decide who wins and who loses, that's being decided right now by, quite frankly, the RobinHood generation, right? The 25 to 40-year-old right now, they're going to be a lot longer, they're spending a hell of a lot longer. And I think they're voting with their wallets right now, which are the investable companies. And Target is outstanding here. Target had, and it made me think about the difference between Target and Amazon. And I don't know if anyone else has anecdotal thoughts about this, but when you go on Amazon, you're not getting the lowest price often. And and hear me out here, Zach. I saw Zach give me a quizzical look, and I can't. By the way,
I'm just not sure where you're headed. Go ahead.
For those at home, I don't see the other fellows, so they might have given me a quiz. They might be giving me the middle finger. Hell, if I would know. That I can't see what they're doing. I can only see Zach in the studio here. So when I go to Amazon, and I forget the percentage, but it was just released yesterday when they reported. X percent, it's a large percent.
Yeah,
is now third-party sellers. Meaning Zach is taking whatever he makes or whatever he buys from overseas or wherever, and he sells his wares on Amazon. Zach has no obligation to give you the most competitive price. And Amazon is an advertiser-driven model. They are huge. They make a tremendous amount of money from advertising. And so, did you buy the first spot? Did you buy the prominent eye placement? And all of that takes, just like Google, all of that takes place on Amazon. And so, and then there's also the issue with fake reviews. So there's that. And so, and that's a big deal, actually. The whole review thing is a whole.
The whole review thing is another show,
another topic.
Yeah,
but you're not. But if you go to Target, you're not getting. It's Target. You're not getting gouged. They might be a couple pennies more than Walmart, but when you go to price out razor blades, or pick anything, similar items, you're going to find more price variance, anecdotally on my end, than you're going to look at these new shoes. I'll just give you this example.
Okay. All right, hold on. Yeah.
Look at these new shoes. These, by the way, are Hoka's.
Hoka's,
not hookah. Hookah is what you smoke. Hoka is this shoe, one, that makes me look incredibly taller. Okay, so I like them for that. But two, I've got a flat foot. By the way, not only am I skinny fat, which is a whole range of fat. That is, like, there's fat, there's obese, and then there's skinny fat. I fall into skinny fat where I could be thin, I could get in shape, but no, I'm skinny fat. It's just my genetic makeup.
You like to eat your donuts. It's okay. I respect
old fashions. Yeah.
So
no
I'm
coincidence that we spent this entire show talking about food.
Yeah.
And irony not lost on me now.
Hold on. Wait, he's got a point. He's getting there. Yeah.
So skinny fat. So here, you know what? I went to the store I went to like a real shoes, a running store, right?
Yeah.
Because my feet hurt so freaking bad from running, and I've got something wrong. I hit my toe on my kid's what do you call that? Where you sit at and eat? High chair. Like 2 years ago, I detached ligaments. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so the guy goes, "Sir, your shoes are too small." I'm not making this up. And this kid's like 20, and he's a runner though. You can just tell. Like he looks like he would wear the helmet with the little wings on it if he was Greek. Like he was that in shape running type.
Wow.
Yeah. And so Greek god of running, Athena Nike. And so he says, "Yeah, you're wearing 11s and you need a 12." It just started laughing. Like, what do you mean? He goes, "Yeah, it looks like your foot either got fat or like, so not only am I fat, my foot got bigger. So now these are 12s. These are boats." But he goes, "Yeah, let's get that little measuring device out." And no kidding, I'm a size 12. I was an 11. Maybe an 11 and a half on a good
11
day.
for years.
So the fatness of my upper body has now crushed the soles of my feet, literally and
It's
figuratively.
just gravity. It's working its way down.
That's right.
So back to Target.
We all have our crosses.
Where I was going with Hoka's. So Hoka's cost a ton more on Amazon because they're all sold from third-party sellers.
Right. They're all getting markup.
Yeah, they're getting markup. Whereas you go to Hoka or maybe someone who's not on Amazon, like East Bay, which is a digital, they have a physical store, but more digital shoe retailer. Much like $30, $40 cheap. So I think when you go to Target, they're just well run right now. I think people enjoy the experience of shopping at Target, but I also think, and I order a bunch of stuff from Target on the app. I'm telling you, my wife gave me her login, and I've been ordering a shit ton. A boatload from Target's app, and I find it more enjoyable than the Walmart experience. Anyway, that's enough on culture. Let's do this. I've talked ad nauseum. I don't need to do fib levels. Let me show you something, Stockner's Market Lovers, because there's something that's showing up in the charts, and we can talk about it momentarily. But if you go to, and I'll forget to do this if I don't do it now, revereasset.com, there's a lot of things here on this site. Number one, daily market insights. We're producing content 6 days a week. So all of it is not an attempt, but I guess it is an attempt. I don't know another word for attempt. If someone can throw me the thesaurus, that'd be great. To look at tomorrow's information, analyze what happened today, and discuss what's happening tomorrow. We are not a recap channel. We are not a recap show. We are taking what's happening with price and volume and synthesizing that information into potentially what could happen tomorrow. And that's what you're going to get from our videos. It's a really big distinction from most other shops in the free world plus China. 5 nights a week, we're giving you videos. Did a video on fib. Hunter has the video from last night. Where's the money flowing to? Fantastic. Now, want just the podcast? Go to the podcast. We've done a tremendous of these don't let sometimes the title is not indicative of what is included within. Give them a watch, okay? Look at Zach.
Well, I can't call this episode the Mount Rushmore of fast foods, but that might be the best title for the episode.
We might have to do it.
It's got to be something exciting, like Hunter Jolly Rancher thing or whatever we were talking about.
Like Hunter's a communist because he hates donuts.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm regretting that we didn't call the show it had to be these child tax credit show from 2 weeks ago where you looked at me and you said, should we call it Biden Bucks? And I said, nah. But I'm regretting that choice. I wish we would have called it Biden Bucks.
Not to call it Biden Bucks.
Yeah. So
it was trending on Twitter.
Yeah, I think we should have. Now that in retrospect, it's the one thing I've regretted in the last 2 weeks.
No.
So, but anyway, a tremendous amount of content. And then look, you want to reach out to us, Stock Nerds. We love you. Any questions on the research you're about to hear? We've got a whole bunch of other things to discuss second half of the show here. 855-722-5932. Look, you can email Guns Katutis right here. I almost added an MC in front of Katutis. Guns McKatutis. Like he's Irish. He's not Irish. He's Greek. Oh, Guns McTutis. Yes. Oh, I know Guns McTutis.
Also, did we add our wonderful office manager on there?
Yeah, there's Merle.
Hey,
listen, she's awesome.
She's the best.
She's like literally sitting right across from us in the studio, but she's awesome. Wanted to scream into Danny's phone, 855-722-932.
Call him on vacation.
Call him on vacation. Tell him your favorite football team's not the Dallas Cowboys. And then you can email any one of us right here. But listen, we are available to you. That's the whole difference between our shop and everywhere else. You're talking to people that are the strategists. You're talking to people that actually make the decisions. And when you call streetadvisor.com or stripmalladvisor.com, all you're getting is someone with plausible deniability, meaning they've put you in a bunch of mutual funds. They don't make the choices in those. And you're in a pie chart model where you got X percentage of different bunch of exposures. And if you got a bunch of average, Don, if you put a bunch of average funds in a portfolio, what do you think your returns are?
Below average.
There you go. And so
I'm sorry, you know what I'm thinking right now?
About chicken and how we didn't talk about Kentucky Fried? Go ahead.
No. That if we sat Meryl down and asked her to highlight the last few months that she's been working exclusively with Danny, that this would be the highest rated show of all time.
Oh.
An inside look into
my
the
gosh.
life of Danny.
The next time Danny's out of the office, we're just going to do that. What's it like to work with Danny? Because the caricature that we've painted of Danny is that he's driving in with a convertible Cadillac. It's got horns on the front and Yosemite Sam mud flaps on the back. Like, that's the caricature that we've built of Danny because he sounds like Yosemite Sam. Oh, but I don't think Yosemite Sam ever said I'm a damn genius, but
he's got revolvers on both hips.
Yep.
Yeah. For sure. He sounds like he owns a pair of truck nuts. You wouldn't put them on his car, but they'd be a novelty gift.
Truck nuts?
Yeah.
Can we just isolate the word truck nuts for a second? Because I've never heard that called truck nuts, and that makes me laugh.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly. When you say truck nuts. Yeah. As they say where I'm from, the low-hanging fruit.
That's right.
Truck nuts.
Truck nuts.
I don't think Danny would allow us to talk about truck nuts. If
Does Danny wear cowboy boots to the office?
No, you know what he sports now that it's summertime? He's got this collection of shorts that I swear were pants before, but they zip off.
He does not have zip off pants.
I swear to God.
I know about zip off. I had a pair maybe when I was like 8.
Like, if I can paint you the picture of zip off pants with it's the go-to for middle-aged men, right? PFG gear, performance fishing gear,
New Balance shoes.
No, well, he's got a pair of those. But he does. But he's
the white ones.
I'm not making this up. I am 99% sure I've seen him sport New Balance dad shoes. And
those are the dad shoes of the century.
like you stand up by your barbecue and you tell people the way things used to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And but he's got the zip off pants, the PFG shirt, and the PFG shirt it's got the vent in the back because guys who wear PFG sweat back there.
Right.
And so
you're wearing a Bass fishing shirt to the office.
He does, but then he tops off the ensemble with a pair of Crocs.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's a good outfit though. Danny all together. That's good.
because I came into the
That
office.
fits the mold.
Yeah,
We're doing
crawfish hunting.
We're doing the we're redoing the website, Stock Nerds and Market Lovers, and there's some things that like there's gonna be a Stock Nerds rewards page, and we were finalizing some things before it went to development. And I'm really excited for the new website because like there's going to be eventually there'll be an email rewards program in there that like for passing along our videos and a whole bunch of things. I think the site's being designed as a destination because not everybody subscribes. People get enough emails, but we want to make it like that you're stopping by 2, 3, 4 times a week. A lot of people, this is their trusted source of information. Maybe not now after we put Wendy's on the Mount Rushmore, but 6 one half a dozen the other. So anyway, I go into Danny's office and he stands up. And I wasn't anticipating seeing the whiteness of his legs with the Crocs of his shoes. And it just took it stopped me. Like I'm like, oh, we're doing that. Like this is what we're wearing today. I put on jeans. Like this is what you
did the Crocs come before or after?
No, he's been a Crocs fan long before Crocs became. I think he was a Crocs holdover from the 08 Crocs run.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He just held on. He never.
I am 90% certain that those are Crocs from the last Crocs run.
You got to respect that.
He's hardcore.
Kind of loyalty. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of loyalty. But Danny, listen, this is the honest to God's truth, and I hope people do flood his inbox with what I'm about to say. Danny 1 year said, because I said, it was 2014 when I joined. I said, Danny, we should send like a Christmas card. And or like a holiday card,
sure,
to our
Season's
clients or friends, something. So I write up the letter, like we sent out a card, and Danny calls me. Don, can you do Danny's voice just real quick to give people the imagery of Danny's voice for just 1 second?
I'd be glad to.
Yeah, thank you. So Danny calls me. What do you think about spice rubs? Huh? Sorry, spice rubs? And this is before I knew anything about barbecue, right? Like
sure,
things you would rub your meat with.
Right. Spice rubs.
Spice rubs.
Yeah.
We should send them spice rubs. And that I'm like, don't you want to send them a mug? Maybe.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, what do you want to send them? And he's like, well, I'm in here with AK. AK is his wife, not a gun. Okay. So AK. There's another thing, right? Like Danny's a Texan who talks about AK, and it, not 847, his wife, AK.
Yeah.
And and so he says, AK and I are in here making some spice rub, and I want to send it to the clients. We should find some envelopes and figure out how much this costs. I'm not making this up. We went it takes forever to do this, but Danny's spice rub has become like a tradition unlike any other. It's like the freaking Masters.
So he pulled it off. This happened.
Yeah, this happens every year now.
Oh, every year
we can't do.
It's really good. It is a really good rub.
That is the 100% truth. Like Don's not joking. I don't think Don's joking. I can't see his face, but
no, I'm not. My wife says, "Tell Danny we're out of rub."
Boy, can we isolate that?
Isolating anything. Anyway, all right. So the spice rubs are a big hit.
Yeah, we get so many people telling Danny that they love it. Really? And he's vacuumed. So he makes up this secret. He won't tell me what's in it. The only thing he did tell me was it has a little bit of sweetener in it because I don't want to eat sugar. And so he's like, it's got a little sugar in it, but not much. And so it's a secret recipe. And he's in there vacuum sealing it the week before we send it out. He makes it fresh, so it's it's super duper fresh. It vacuum seals, and then he brings in a box. It's a gargantuan box. And I'm going to tell you what, he is kvetching the whole time he's doing this. Danny has a little bit of complainer in him. True statement, Don?
Accurate.
This spice rub took a long time to make. This spice rub takes a long time to ship. This spice rub, how much postage cost? And these envelopes. There's a lot of kvetching going on during the spice rub. When it's spice rub week, all I know is that you stand by for a bunch of kvetching. But he loves it. I know in my heart that when it's ESPN has bowl week, right? And Danny has spice rub. And the week that we send out the spice rub, I know it's his happiest week of the year. Like Spice Rub Week for Danny is the one time a year he gets to send out joy to people he knows loves it. New clients have to be confused as F. But like they got a Christmas card with Spice Rub. There is nobody in the free world that's sending you a Christmas card with a sachet?
Cachet?
With a sack? I don't know. It's a vacuum sealed sack of Spice Rub. And yet it's now who says tradition like any other, Hunter? Who's that sportscaster?
Oh man.
Who's that dude from the Masters? He does like Jim Nance. Jim Nance, who does everything. Like you can't get away from Joe Buck and Jim Nance, right? Two different channels, all the sports covered. It's a tradition unlike any other. It's Danny's Spice Rub Week. Now, this year, I don't know when Spice Rub Week's going to be. It's usually a panic at the beginning of the month that then he parlays into a second week in December. So I think it's going to be the second week of December for Spice Rub. But listen, stock nerds, here's the secret. If you're not a client of the firm, please do become one. Like, that's the easiest way to get Spice Rub. Secondly, not only will you get great service, which you see how that's because I went to a professional school of broadcasting.
That's right.
That's how you become a client, get Spice Rub. But you're going to get access to Don, Hunter, Alex, who not only can give you great stock thoughts, but how to get big guns. And so, listen, it's real easy to do. It's a couple DocuSign forms away. If you want to back test us, Danny hates it when I use the word back test, but the easiest thing to do, and I believe this to be the honest to God's truth, is go to our Daily Market Insight tab, and then just spin the wheel, scroll down, and pick any tab and understand what was going on in the market at that time, and then watch our videos. We don't alter them. We sure as hell don't edit them, and we don't pull them down. If you want to see how things turn out, that's the best way. You want to be a hindsight trader with us? Do it. Because that's how we earn so many people coming to Revere. Because there is no way in God's green earth, no matter what you think about the upside of the economy or the stock market, you will not get 2008 with Revere. And that is a really big deal. Because there has been a tremendous amount of wealth made in the last decade. And the market is designed to take half of it, if not more, back. And you can look at history and time and understand that. Just pull out some weekly and monthly charts and understand exactly what I'm talking about. So with that, I've talked a long time. Not really sorry about it, because we covered Spice Week, which is now going to be a thing in the shop. Hunter, tell me what you're looking at this week, man.
Yeah, man. So I got really two sectors, and I actually talked about both of these in last night's video and back in Monday, but I just want to highlight them. So for starters, can you pull up ITB for me, Tim? And this is your home builders ETF, and you can see it is slightly green today on a day where the markets are a little bit weak. So a little bit of relative strength today, but I just wanted to highlight that some of these names, myself, Don, Alex, we were discussing last week. I even think I may have talked about it in Thursday's video. We're starting to show strength before some of the other value and commodity type of stocks. So if you'll pull up DHI for me, please, Tim. And you can see yesterday it had a nice day up about 4 or 5%. But these stocks poked their head above. DHI and LEN are the two we're going to look at here. They poked their head above those moving averages, the 50, the 21, came back and tested them and bounced strongly off of them in DHI's case. In LEN's case, pretty much exactly the same thing, but it retested the 100 level and bounced there. So LEN actually a little bit stronger. DHI has been a little stronger today. But two of the first to show some signs of life. And then behind these builder stocks, you can also pull up MTH, Tim. This is Meritage or Meritage Homes.
Yep.
They gapped up yesterday and held the move pretty well, and then are following through today up 2% as well. So that's part of what lifted the home builder stocks. The other sector is steel. So you can pull up XME or SLX. XME is the broader ETF. SLX is specific to steel. But you can see XME got back above the 50. Now I would watch and see how it acts when it tests the 50 or gets near it. If that which was previously resistance and couldn't get over the 50 for a while. If that flips to support, that's something I would pay attention to. And you've got the same scenario in a lot of these steel names. So Tim, if you pull up STLD, you can see it had a really strong day yesterday. It finally got through the 50, up about 5.5%. It's initially something we saw this morning was the steel names, the home builder names were a lot stronger early this morning. That trade has faded throughout the day. They've actually gotten weaker while they're still holding up better than most of the other market constituents. But I would watch the same thing on STLD, Nucor. How do they act when they retest the 50-day moving average? In Nucor's case, it's right around $100. In STLD's case, it's right around 61, 62. I'd look for how they act when they go back and retest those areas if they get to that point. And then lastly, Tim, two names that I have talked about before, but I want to bring them back up. CVNA Carvana.
Oh yeah, do that.
Just two names off the radar a little bit that are not, they're not your Amazons and the Apples that are taking up the headlines right now. Carvana is just kind of holding up and respecting the 8-day, right at all-time highs.
Mhm.
And also AutoNation AN was a recent earnings gap up about a week ago, has yet to break the 8-day, kind of similar to Carvana, just respecting the 8-day and moving higher right at all-time highs. So two names at all-time highs showing strength while the markets are pulling back, and then two sectors that have kind of been dead for the better part of the last 2 months starting to show some signs of life.
I'm curious what the float is. 80 million shares is the float on Carvana. Why is Vroom not good? Did you know, Hunter? I don't know if you looked at Vroom.
I don't, other than the fact that I feel like it's somewhat a Smile Direct Club versus a Line type of situation. I think a Line is Carvana.
That's a great analogy.
It's the best one. It's one they popped in my mind
Yep.
too. Yep. It's just like I don't know why I don't study Vroom, but Vroom is like Vroom does what Carvana does. Probably clearly not as well.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing that makes Carvana so interesting is it's kind of like Zillow. Like they started off innovating in a space and then have just kind of infiltrated their way into different areas within that space because now they come buy your car from you.
Yeah.
And it's just they got in with innovation and have taken over different areas as they've gotten in there.
Yeah, it's amazing to see what first mover gives you. Carvana's first mover. Vroom came after Carvana in the private space, and now. Boy, just super interesting. Great analysis as always. Let's go to he's doing curlies for the girlies. Alex Guns Catutus.
Well, you just touched that stock. You had it up a line. If you could pull that back up.
This is an amazing story. Go ahead.
Yeah, pull up the chart if you could. I don't see it.
Oh,
got it. Sorry.
There we go.
I
don't think the viewers want to see me. Anyways, so yesterday
that is not true.
That's very untrue.
The
Mount the stats.
We've
got the comments. People want to see it.
Yeah, I was going to say the Mount Rushmore of handsomeness might have Guns Catutus on the.
That's right.
On the George Washington
that title
spot.
Card is the biggest one we've ever done.
Is he turning? Has he turned right? Oh, now listen, Me Mommy, which is the biggest fan base. The Me Mommies are a fan base of Hunter.
Hot commodities on our show.
Who's the famous singer who she did that movie with Bradley Cooper?
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
What are her fan bases? What she's got a name for her fan base. What is that called?
I mean, first thing that comes to my mind would be the Gagas.
No,
I truly don't know.
Taylor Swift has the Swifties. Yeah. Hunter has the Me Mommies. I don't know what Alex has, but I'll think of it. Go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry.
So Align reported yesterday really strong earnings and they beat estimates across the board. So something that's really was difficult for me in my beginning of my career was buying a stock at all-time highs. And you have a tendency to try to buy stocks that gap down because you think you're getting a discount and then it potentially will bounce back. But that's not the case. You got to remember the institutions are the ones that are moving these stocks. So you want to follow the smart money per se. So they're piling in on, and it was on major volume. I got in my beta test portfolio at around 660 in the morning, and then it's following through again today. So far so good. The opposite of that, let's pull up Pinterest, and that had a gap down today. This would be an example of what I was talking about. It's funny. I got a text message from a close friend today. Hey man, I saw Pinterest was down a lot. Should I buy it? And I simply texted him one word. I said no. Yep. I didn't have to explain. He'll call me later, probably asking why. But that is a sign of institutions getting out of those positions. A 20% gap down is not a place to be trying to look for a spot to get an entry on. It just, you're going to get hurt. More than likely, that stock will take a long time to recover and create a new base. So stick with stocks that are gapping up like a line. Another name today that had strong earnings that's gapping up. If you could pull up Team, TEAM.
Altiza, an Australian company.
Yeah, so Atlassian is the company. It's a software company. I know several people that use them in their own company. My wife works for GoDaddy, and I know that Atlassian is part of their one of the systems they use. In addition, they use ServiceNow as well a lot. But yeah, Atlassian. So this is an example of something that you could try. Now, as far as measuring risk and where to get in, I will be doing a bonus stock video coming next week. I thought about doing it today on one stock, but I want to wait to see if it sets up better. I want to try to give the viewers the best opportunity if they do try a name. So maybe this is going to be one, maybe a line, but I'm going to go over where to put a stop on a gap up. A hint is use the day's low. That will give you a clear indication if the stock's going to hold up that gap. So the low today, where's the low on that today on Team?
Sure. Low is, let's see here, 310.
So 310, and it's at 328, 330-ish. So you're giving yourself about a 7 or 8% stop loss from where it is right now. But odds are on gap ups, they continue to go higher. And we're in a good trend. We're in an uptrend. So it's not like we're in a bear market and the weight of the market's pulling the stock down. That's pretty much it for today. We did have a gap down in-house. It was on PayPal. I'll let Don go over that. I'm pretty sure we got out of that without a loss.
We'll talk in a second. Real quick, to get Alex's bonus content, Stock Nerds Market Lovers, regardless if you subscribe to our 6 days a week content, the only way to get it is to go to our YouTube channel, Revere Asset. Subscribe, please. You can you don't have to subscribe. Just go to the channel. You can watch it. But if you want to know the moment he posts that bonus content, subscribe to the channel. And then there's a little bell. And you hit that, and it'll pop up on your device or your computer and let you know the moment Alex pops or drops that bonus content. So that's the way to get it right away. Which brings us now to Don Vandenbord, the king of St. Augustine, Florida. Let's talk. You want to talk PayPal first?
Uncrowned king.
Uncrowned king.
Yes.
Before we do that, Jaguars. Is Tim Tebow still on the team? They just opened camp, right?
He is.
As far as we know, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he makes
Rosters
it.
Are still at 90 players.
Me too.
Though, so.
Okay. I haven't actually looked. I literally just thought of that when I said St. Augustine. You want to talk PayPal?
Are you aware that your comeback player of the year, Carson Wentz, has already suffered a foot injury in camp that they're evaluating?
Oh no!
Whoa. You know what? That's just to drive the value of his sports cards down. I'm going to buy that dip.
Buy low, huh?
It's going to be a Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts Super Bowl.
Wow.
Boy.
It's going to be a Colts Eagles.
No.
Listen, what a year that would be.
Yeah.
No.
No
shot.
Hold on to your hats, kids.
Oh my gosh. Hunter, I wanted to do a show. I talked to Danny about doing this real quick. It'll take 2 seconds. I wanted to do a show where Hunter and I just midweek do ridiculous parlays. And and like they cost $1, like a parlay where you could like spend $2 to make 10,000. I'm pretty sure the Colts Eagles Super Bowl parlay is one of those. Go ahead, Don. I'm sorry.
I don't even know where we were.
PayPal.
After that,
PayPal. Alex dropped you off at PayPal.
Yeah.
So we treated three stocks that we own had earnings coming in this week. Two of them held up fine. One of them didn't. PayPal gapped down after earnings. When it gapped after hours, well, first of all, coming into earnings, we had about a 5% position, but a low single-digit gain. So not liking the risk reward to that, I cut it to a half position, and which made the risk manageable depending on what the reaction to earnings was. PayPal gapped down, and initially after hours was sitting on the 50-day moving average, but it broke that. After hours, when it broke it, we just sold it. So between the small profit we took prior to the gap down and the loss of the gap down, we ended up with like 0.1% loss, I think, to the overall portfolio.
Was the loss.
The other two that acted fine, but I also had low single digit gains. DT, initial bad reaction, but bounced right where it needed to, and bought that same thing, low single digit, sold half of it, bought that half back after it bounced off of support, and that's fallen through to the upside. And also InMode, INMD, same situation, low single digit gains. We know the story. Stock's acting well. Initial sell off, bounced right off of the 21, added the other half back, and it's followed through to the upside. So one loser, two winners that we handled going into earnings. Another thing I want to talk about is we disagree with a few things that are part of the O'Neill philosophy, and one of them is only picking stocks from groups that are in the top 20%. We want to see groups we want to look for groups that are not acting well, but are moving up, and see if they have any standout stocks in them. Right now, gold and silver bring up GDX. Gold and silver not acting well, very obviously. But you can see after the Fed announcement on Thursday morning, gold had a big gap up. Gold and silver stocks gapped up, and pretty much across the board. See if this move holds as they continue to hold up, but let's compare two stocks that are in this universe. The first one, Newmont Mining, NEM, not looking good at all. In fact, it looks pretty much like GDX does. But Franco-Nevada, FNV, is one we identified as really the top of the group, and if there was a move made, that we would expect a breakout in this, and that's what we saw yesterday. So took a 3% position in this, with it holding near the top of the range, added a little bit to it. We're positive on this. If there's going to be legs to the gold and silver stock move, I would expect Franco-Nevada to continue to be at the head of the pack. So that's one of the things that we look for, is groups coming off the bottom and the leaders in those groups before the group move is obvious. So that's working out fine so far.
Okay.
As far as the 21 over 21,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's what I was about to say. So Don's going to do it's a watch list video, 21 over 21. You can get it by just subscribing right here, or it'll come right to your inbox, or Daily Market Insight tab, posted Friday evening. Go ahead, Don. What you got?
Yeah, minimal turnover again this week. Leading stocks holding up pretty well. A little bit of softness in the market over the last couple of days, but we had a sell-off on Tuesday. We need to hold the lows of Tuesday. And if we do, I think the market will be fine. There's some emerging leadership at Tesla finally starting to act well. It took a little bit after its earnings report to get it going, but it's bouncing nicely. It's coming into resistance at the 700 area, though. TSLA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking about
something. And yeah. And also AMD. It looks like NVIDIA has passed the baton to AMD. AMD, and again, initially got a slow start off of earnings, but AMD looks like it wants to move. So those are two to look at, and FNV will be added to the 21 over 21 list. Tune in to find out what got dropped.
Awesome. Is that all you got?
Yep.
Wonderful, wonderful. One last thing, Zach. This will be 2 minutes. Okay?
Yeah.
So look, this has been a beautiful year in the S&Ps, and so You can see here down at the bottom of your screen, there's 1-4 with hiccups, right? You get some hiccups, They seem to come in pairs, right? Pair of days there, pair of days there, pair of days there, pair of days there. So it's interesting. We're setting up into August, and there's a bunch of news. There's two big news stories, I believe, that dominate market headlines. And believe me, I'm a believer that price dictates. Price. It's first price then news. News doesn't drive the train. Price does, and stocks will tell you what the news is going to be. And but I was looking at this pattern the other day, and it got me thinking of a time frame. Like the two news stories, by the way, are Delta variant of COVID, but then there's the other story that's really big is China and what China has been doing to their companies. Oh, you guys familiar with the China story, Hunter, Alex, Don, anybody?
Yeah.
So they're honestly kicking the legs out from under them to the point where Didi might, although it's been denied, Didi, which just came public, which is the Chinese Uber, might have to go private, or China's going to not allow their companies to come public on U.S. markets. And there's some gamesmanship being played right now, and it's control, and it's a bunch of politics. But the bigger story here, I believe in the States, has been Delta variant. But it got me thinking about the chart on your screen, which is 2015. And so I want to be really clear. I'm not calling for a 2015 event. We don't. If you want to know what we're thinking, just watch the videos every night. But when this is an opportunity in the show, the radio show, to think a little bit more macro, and I would like to take that opportunity. So here's beginning of 2015 right here, and you had hiccups, like the market grinded higher, grinded, and but you had hiccups, and it was in July of 2015, and it was Greek debt time. And I remember this because it was summertime. I was in Pennsylvania, and everyone was talking about the Greek bailout. Like, were the Germans going to allow? It was Mario Draghi, to bail out the Greeks. But here, the real story, the whole time, was China and currency manipulation, and what they were doing to their currency, to the point where one day in August, it was the third week in August. So there were 3 days in a row, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that were down days in the markets. And then Monday, all hell broke loose. And you got this day right here. So it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then all hell just broke loose. And it's August. We're coming into August. And normally I would tell you the first of the month is jumper trade, where a bunch of hedge fund, mutual fund, pension fund money gets put to work. Those first 2 days are so important to the month, I believe. And they really were no different in 2015. But there were two huge news stories in 2015, this exact time frame. And then before you know it, Bob's your uncle, China did something, and it just caused this cascade. And it really, if you do the chart, it set the tone into 2016. Where, and I remember this so distinctly because the VIX inverted. Danny and I got short in July. We waited it out 3 weeks, and then we were rewarded. And then we were short going into the start of the year, and then we were rewarded. And so it'll be interesting to see what takes place this August. And so, Pseudo Danny, would you please take us home?
Yeah, first I want to point out, though, All Hell's Breaking Loose was the second single from Kiss's Lick It Up album from 1984. So if you're taking a look at charts this weekend, hop on Lick It Up, a classic album. The first album where Kiss took their makeup off, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And with that, stock nerds and market lovers, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and we'll be back next week on Your Money.